such a funny chapter yesterday. It was a really funny chapter. Here we go. So chapter 2. We got chapter 2 here. Sword with roses. Very cool. Whoa. Just smacked my glasses off. Hey, doggy. Okay. The night was cold and dark over the lands of Solamnia. The stars above gleamed with the sparkling bright light, brittle light. The constellations of the Platinum Dagger, Paladine, and Tacitus, Queen of Darkness, circled each other endlessly around Gilean's scales of balance. It would be 200 years or more before these same constellations vanished from the skies, as the gods and men waged war over Kryn. So, the stars above gleamed with sparkling, brittle light. What does brittle mean? Brittle light. Constellations of the Platinum Dragon, Paladine, Tacitus, Queen of Darkness, circled each other endlessly around Gilean's scales of balance. It would be 200 years or more before these same constellations vanished from the skies, as the gods and men waged war over Kryn. Well, see, it makes sense that they circle around Gilean's scales of balance because of what they represent. Gilean's scales of balance is like the letter I, bringing justice, kind of. And so the constellations of the Platinum Dragon, those kind of represent, see, that can represent, I guess, blocking everyone, blocking somebody from being able to see who else is out there, for being able to get certain messages or something. And then like Tacitus, Queen of Darkness, or maybe drinking too. And then Tacitus, Queen of Darkness is a bit more bad and illegal for those types of dragons or whatever. But it's interesting with the subconscious mind, how they have these warnings for us. And it's really cool how much more I understand now reading this, why their characters could be evil, because it didn't really make sense before, you know. For now, each was content with watching the other. If either god had happened to glance down, he or she would, perhaps, have been amused to see what appeared to be mankind's feeble attempts to imitate the celestial glory. On the plains of Solamnia, outside the mountain fortress city of Garnet, campfires dotted the flat grasslands. I am lighting the night below as the stars lit the night above. The army of fisted Dragonlance. The flames of the campfires were reflected in shield and breastplate, danced off sword blades, and flashed on spear tip. The fire shone on faces bright with hope and newfound pride. They burned in the dark eyes of the camp followers and leaped up to light the merry play of the children. So I'm kind of confused why they're even why are they even with Dragonlance? I mean, why are they even, helping the dwarves and the humans go to the mountain dwarves? Around the campfires stood or sat groups of men, talking and laughing, eating and drinking, working over their equipment. The night air was filled with jests and oaths and tall tales. Here and there were groans of pain as men rubbed shoulders and arms that ached from unaccustomed exercise. Hands calloused from swinging hoes were blistered from wielding spears, but these were accepted with good-natured shrugs. They could watch their children play around the campfires and know that they had eaten, if not well, at least adequately that night. They could face their wives with pride. For the first time in years, these men had a goal, a purpose in their lives. They have wives now and children. There were some who knew this goal might well be death, but those who knew this recognized and understood it and made their choice to remain anyway. After all, said Garrick to himself as his replacement came to relieve him of his guard duty, death comes to all. Better a man meet it in the blazing sunlight, his sword flashing in his hand, than to have it come creeping up on him in the night unawares, or clutch at him with foul, diseased hands. The young man, now that he was off duty, returned to his campfire and retrieved a thick cloak from his bedroll, hastily gulping down a bowl of rabbit stew. He then walked among the campfires. Headed for the outskirts of the camp, he walked with purpose, ignoring many invitations to join friends around their fires. These he waved off genially and continued on his way. Few thought anything of this. A great many fled of lights of the fires at night. A great many fled the lights of the fires at night. The shadows were warm with soft sighs and murmurs and sweet laughter. So Garrick, who is Garrick then? I'm kind of confused on who Garrick is. Garrick did have an appointment in the shadows, but it was not with a lover, though several young men in camp would have been more than happy to share the night with the handsome young nobleman. Coming to a large boulder, far from camp and far from other company, Garrick wrapped his cloak about him, sat down, and waited. He did not wait long. "Garrick," said a hesitant voice. "Michael," Garrick cried warmly, rising to his feet. The two men clasped hands, and then, overcome, embraced each other warmly. "I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw you ride into camp today, cousin," Garrick continued, gripping the other man's hand as though afraid to let him go, afraid he might disappear into the shadows, into the darkness. "Nor I you," said Michael, holding fast to his kinsman and trying to rid his throat of the huskiness is seen to have developed. Coughing, he sat down on the boulder, and Garrick joined him. Both remained silent for a few moments, as they cleared their throats and pretended to be stern and soldierly. Where is Chrysania and Rassilon? I want to read it down. I thought it was a ghost, Michael said, with a hollow attempt at a laugh. We heard you were dead. His voice died and he coughed again. Confounded damp weather, he muttered, gets in a man's windpipes. Right there, I felt like I was being congratulated for not smoking. Yay! But yeah, I do need to be careful of mold. I escaped, Garrick said quietly. But my father, my mother, and my sister were not so lucky. And, Michael murmured, pain in his voice. She died quickly, Garrick said quietly. As did my mother. My father saw to that before the mob butchered him. It made them mad. They mutilated his body. Garrick choked. Michael gripped his arm in sympathy. A noble man, your father. He died as a true knight, defending his home. A better death than some face, he added grimly, causing Garrick to look at him with a sharp, penetrating glance. But what is your story? How did you get away from the mob? Where have you been this last year? I did not get away from them, Garrick said bitterly. I arrived when it was all over. Where I had been did not matter. The young man flushed. But I should have been with them, to die with them. No, your father would have not wanted that. Michael shook his head. You live, you will carry on the name. Garrick frowned. His eyes glinted darkly. Perhaps, though I have not lain with the woman since. He shook his head. At any rate, I could only do for them what I could. I set fire to the castle. Michael gasped, but Garrick continued, unhearing. So that the mobs should not take it over. My family's ashes remain there, among the blackened stones of the hall my great-great-grandfather built. Then I rode aimlessly for a time, not much caring what happened to me. Finally, I met up with a group of other men, many like myself, driven from their homes for various reasons. They asked no questions. They cared nothing about me, except that I could wield a sword with skill. I joined them, and we lived off of our wits. Bandits? Michael asked, trying to keep a startled tone from his voice and failing, apparently, for Garrick to cast him a dark glance. Yes, bandits, the young man answered coldly. Did that shock you? That a knight of Solamnia should so forget the code and the measure they joined with bandits? I'll ask you this, Michael. Where were the code and the measure when they murdered my father, your uncle? Where are they anywhere in this wretched land? Nowhere, perhaps, Michael returned steadily, except in our hearts. Garrick was silent. Then he began to weep, harsh sobs that tore at his body. His cousin put his arms around him, holding him close. Garrick gave a shuddering sigh, wiping his eyes with the back of his head. I have not cried once since I found them, he said in a muffled voice. And you are right, cousin. Living with robbers, I had sunk into a pit from which I might not have escaped, but for the general. This, Carmen? Garrick nodded. Hmm. We ambushed him in his party one night, and that opened my eyes. Before I was always robbed. Before I had always robbed people without much thought, or sometimes I even enjoyed it, telling myself it was dogs like these who had murdered my father. But in this party there was a woman and a magic user. The wizard was ill. I hit him, and he crumpled at me, touched like a broken doll. And the woman, I knew what they would do to her, and the thought sickened me. But I was afraid of the leader, Steel Toed, they called him. He was a beast, half ogre. But the general challenged him. I saw true nobility that night. The man willing to give his life to protect those weaker than himself. And he won. Garrett grew calmer. As he talked, his eyes shone with admiration. I saw then what my life had become. But Caramon asked if we would come with him. I agreed, as did most of the others. But I wouldn't have mattered about them. I would have gone with him anywhere. And now you're part of his personal guard? Michael said, smiling. Strange. Wait, hold on. Garrett nodded, flushing with pleasure. I told him I was no better than the others. A bandit, a thief. But he just looked at me. At, he just looked at me as though he could. Sorry, let me get over here. Excuse me. As though he could see inside my soul, and smiled, and said that every man had to walk through a dark, starless night, and when he faced the morning, he'd be better for it. Strange, Michael said. I wonder what he meant. I think I understand, Garrick said. His glance went to the far edge of the camp, where Caramon's huge tent stood, smoke from the fires curling around the fluttering silken flag that was a black streak against the stars. Sometimes I wonder if he isn't walking through his own dark night. I've seen a look on his face sometimes. Garrick shook his head. You know, and he said abruptly, he and the wizard are twin brothers. Michael's eyes opened wide. Garrick confirmed it with a nod. It is a strange relationship. There's no love lost between them. But, between them. One of the black robes? Michael said, snorting. I should think not. I wonder the mage even travels with us. From what I have heard, these wizards can ride the night winds and summon forces from the graves to do their battles. This one could do that, I've no doubt, Garrick replied, giving a smaller tent next to the general's a dark glance. Though I have seen him do his magic once. Oh, did you hear that bird? It said, where's my family? Where are you? It said, I'm lost. You hear that bird? It said, wake up. I'm by a road. Stay awake. The bird's lost. That was cute. Oh, what's he doing? Same Wake up, what do I do? I'm sitting here. Sad. You should just go to sleep. My fault. Fine tomorrow. So once the light comes, you'll find. Wow. The birds are actually talking. That's crazy. You have to imagine what it's like to be a bird, and um, in order to hear it clearly, it's kind of difficult. It takes practice. Anyways, so though I've seen him do his magic only once, back at the bandit camp, I know he is powerful. One look from his eyes, and my stomach shrivels inside of me. My blood turns to water. But, as I said, he was not well when we first met up with him. Night after night, when he still slept in his brother's tent, I heard him cough until I did not think he could draw breath again. Uh-oh. I'm going to rub it in because I haven't smoked today and I want a cigarette. Well, I got to follow it. They've seriously spooked me out from how much this wrestling character fits everything. So weird. Night after night, when he still slept. Okay, draw a breath again. It's true. It's like reminding me to quit for my wife. How can a man live with such pain? I asked myself more than once. That would be horrible. That's really scary. I haven't smoked like other people. Recently, I had done things like clear my throat. So that's really something that I usually don't do. So definitely not gonna. Just when I go clubbing, I just won't be tempted. I just I'll go outside. I'll just say hi to people. I don't need an excuse to talk to them. I've always done it as like an excuse to talk to people. To meet new people. But I'm done. I'll stop. But he seemed fine when I saw him today. His health has improved greatly. He does nothing to tax it, however. Just spends all day in his tent studying this spellbook he carries with him in those great huge chests. But he's walking his dark night too. So I plan on getting a big chest of books. Derek added, the gloom hangs about him, and it's been growing the further south we travel. He is haunted by terrible dreams. I've heard him cry out in his sleep, horrible cries. They'd wake the dead. Michael shuddered. Then, sighing, looked over at Karamon's tent. I have grave misgivings about joining an army led, they said, by one of the black robes. And of all the wizards who ever lived, this Dragonlance is rumored to be the most powerful. I had not fully committed myself to join when I rode in today. I thought I would look things over, find out if it's true they go south to help the oppressed people of a sin, justice cared. Being justice caring, that's funny. Because they ban I guess Solace would consider it a ban. Wyoming, because the alcohol laws are different. That's weird, but that's like Utah area. In their fight against mountain dwarves. Mountain dwarves would be like Mormons and Orm and Provo. Sighing again, he made a gesture as if to stroke long mustaches, but his hand stopped. He was clean-shaven, having moved the ages-old symbol of the knights, the symbol that led these days to death. Though my father still lives, Garrick, Michael continued, I think he might well trade his life for your father's death. We were given a choice by the Lord of Vingard Keep. We could stay in the city and die, or leave and live. Father would have died. I too, if we'd had only ourselves to think about. But we could not afford the luxury of honor. A bitter day it was when we packed what we could on a mean cart and left the hall. I saw them settled in a wretched cottage in Throttle. They'll be all right for the winter at least. that baby bird said, "Well, he's safe." That was really cute. The baby bird's wondering if he'll wake up in the morning. That's so cute. Oh my god, that bird must have barely left the nest. That's so cute. Wow. So the bird flew off, and it's too dark to see, so the bird doesn't know where he went. He'll find it tomorrow, though. And it's light out. That'll be easier. Okay, so it's cute. Wow, that bird. I'm sorry, I'm listening to the bird. It's a bit distracting because it's so cute. It's afraid. That bird is afraid, the one that's making noise, because it's a baby and just barely left. It's scared because it doesn't know where it is, and it must have just barely started flying. But she doesn't know, or the family, or I would say she. I don't actually know. Probably is a boy. Maybe it's because I'm trying to help her go to sleep, or him. Wow, I just heard some other bird say, "Don't worry, your family's safe. Just go to sleep." That's cute. And the bird said, "They did." Wow, that's incredible. Okay, so anyways, what was I saying? His health has improved greatly. He does nothing to tax it, however. Just spends all day in his tent studying. I already read this part. Studying the spell books he carries with him in those great, huge chests. But he's walking his dark night too. A gloom hangs about him, and it's been growing the farther south we travel. He is haunted by terrible dreams. I've heard him cry out in his sleep. Horrible cries. They'd wake the dead. Michael shuddered, then sighing, looked over at Caramon's tent. I have grave misgivings about joining an army, they say, by one of the black robes. and all of the wizards who have ever lived. This fifth Dragonlance is rumored to be one of the most powerful. To be the most powerful. I have I have not fully committed myself to join when I rode in today. I thought I would look things over, find out if it's true they go south to help the oppressed people of Aban, as in justice caring, in their fight against mountain dwarves. How do you actually say that? Abanis, Abanis, Abanisinia, Abanisinia, Abanisinia. Sighing again, he made a gesture as if to stroke long mustaches, but his hand stopped. He was clean-shaven, having removed the ages-old symbol of the knights, the symbol that led these days to death. Though my father still lives, Garrick, Michael continued, I think he might well trade his life for your father's death. We were given a choice by the Lord of Vingard. We could stay in this city and die, or leave and live. Okay, this is a part. I'm so sorry. Father would have died too. I too, if we had only ourselves to think of. But we could not afford the luxury of honor. A bitter day it was when we packed what we could on a mean cart and left the hall. I saw them settled in a wretched cottage in Throttle. They'll be all right for a minute at least. Mother is strong and does a work of a man. My little brothers are good hunters. Your father? Garrick asked gently when Michael stopped talking. His heart broke that day. Michael simply said. He sits, staring out the window, his sword on his lap. He has not spoken one word to anyone since the day we left the family hall. Michael suddenly clenched his fist. Why am I lying to you, Garrick? Why am I lying to you, Garrick? I don't give a damn about oppressed people in Abanisi. Say that again. Abanisian. I came to find the treasure beneath the mountain, and glory to bring back the light in the eyes. If we win, the knights can lift their heads once more. He too gazed at the small tent next to the large one. The small tent that had the sign of a wizard's residence hung upon it. The small tent that had the sign of a wizard's residence hung upon it. The small tent that everyone in the camp avoided, if possible. This other bird said, "You'll be all right. You'll be all right. Just go to sleep. Just go to sleep." They said, "Your family knows you're safe." They'd like you to go to sleep. Wow. The bird do it. He was asking if it's I have to look for them. Just go to sleep. They said the darkness. Wow, that's really cool. Do you hear them? He said the darkness. They said the darkness, the black. It's night. The bird's learning English too. Wow, that's so crazy. so weird how, like, they're not even really aware of us as much as it seems like. But they know it's important to find themselves, and they will come and talk to you and stuff. Some of them will. Not around here though, really. In Utah, they did. It was pretty crazy. And every year the robins would come, and they would be like looking for me. They were so fun. We played this game outside where I'd point a stick at my dog, and they would tell my dog what he'd become, and then he'd chase me. When I point the stick at him, he'd turn him into like whatever they would say. It was so funny. And these were wild robins that were doing this game with me. It was really cool. Anyways, Michael suddenly clenched his fist. Why I am lying to you, Garrick. I don't give a damn about oppressed people and bad blah, blah, blah. The treasure beneath the mountain, the glory to bring back the light in his eyes. If we win, the knights can lift their heads once more. You know, this is represented like I guess suing or something. But I mean, people are just like blaming them, you know, kind of. But I mean, it really would help me out just for them to like direct some traffic, you know. It really helped them out. Because what I'm working on, it really helped them out. Because they're not going to believe in what they believe in as much if they don't know how he's responding to them. He too gazed at the small tent next to the large one. The small tent that had the sign of a wizard's residence hung upon it. The small tent that everyone in the camp avoided if possible. But to find this glory, led by the man called the Dark One, the knights of old would not have done so, Paladine. Paladine has forgotten us, Garrick said bitterly. We are left on our own. I know nothing of black-robed wizards. I care little about that one. I stay here and I fall because of one man, the general. If he leads me to my fortune, well and good. If not, Garrick sighed deeply. What? Garrick? Whoa. So that would represent the person hacking my brother. The person hacking my brother. The heck? That's possible. His name is spelled Garric. Is there anybody hacking him? Probably. He plays video games and uses Pirate Bay. Of course somebody else is on that. And then he has at least led me to find peace within myself. I could wish the same for him, he said, beneath his breath. Then rising, he shook off his gloomy thoughts. He probably doesn't anymore. Michael, too. I must return to camp and get some sleep. It is early waking tomorrow, Garrick said. We're preparing to march within the week, so I hear. Well, cousin, will you stay? Michael looked at Garrick. He looked at Caramon's tent. Its bright-colored flag with a 9-pointed star fluttering in the chill air. He looked at the wizard's tent. Then he nodded. Garrick grinned widely, and two clasped hands and walked back to the campfires, arms around each other's shoulders. Tell me this, though, Michael said in a hushed voice as they walked. Is it true this Caramon keeps a witch? Cool. Okay, next chapter is going to be Chrysania and Caramon finally. Thank goodness. I want to get back to that. Very cool. That big bird. It's really cute. I'm going to record music tonight. I'm going to stream on my... I'm going to stream and record. I'm going to play a song. And then I'm going to work on my blog post. And then I'm going to look for a place to live. Actually, I probably should just look for a place to live. It would sure help to know where to live. The bird said, "It's too late. It's too late." The bird just went down the other way. You're coming down. You're going the wrong way. Whoa, he's freaking out. He said, "I can't go to sleep. I'm just a baby." Oh, that's so cute. The baby's crying. You came from that way. You came from that way. You should just go to sleep. You're gonna get lost. Whoa. Oh, he came over here. He's right above me. He just flew above my head. That was cute. He came from over here. He came from over there. He came from over there. It's over here somewhere. You can sleep on that tree, maybe. That roof would be safe. Yeah. So really? That was cute. Oh my gosh. I feel so bad for that bird. You came from over here. You came from over here. You should just go to sleep, though. Yeah, it was over there. It was really far. It was over here. Wasn't it? Yeah. I heard you over here. You should go to sleep right there. What? The other one said, you're telling something about the family. Giving them an update about the family. Wow. He's freaking out. He's going for the way, though. Where is it? Did you hear him say, "Oh, that's so sad"? And the other one over there said, one of them saying, "Join me." Wow. They're over here, he said. Wow. That's really cool. That's really cute. The bird said you were a dumbass. Oh. He said, I do care. He said, they really are over there. Check it out. He said, look there. Look, check them out. Cute. So, like, he found it, maybe. Or she found it. I don't know if it was a bird or girl. Girl. Oh, so now it sounds like they're taking them where I originally heard them. Wow, that's so cool. I was really sad. I was scared. It's really late. It's like, should I go to bed? Just go to bed. It's too dark out. You'll find them in the morning. You hear right there. It said, I guess I'll sleep. I understand it's too dark. I'm not scared. I'm not a stupid bird. That's cute. Oh wow. Oh, you can see my day. That's really cool. So he got some friends at least that are around the same age. Wow. See it right there. That's so cool. I'll give you some seeds. Just go to sleep. And there'll be seeds. I put some seeds out for him. So you hear him say, I love you. That's cute. I'm gonna stay up. So we're gonna stand. So like I said. I can't. Why do I have to go to sleep? That was really incredible. Holy cow, I can't believe they said all that. That was really cool. That was really funny. So I'm gonna put some seeds out to put in and just go to sleep. And so I am going to record a song tonight, just like stream on Twitch and just record to sing. Remind some of those. Okay. Okay. Just need some potatoes. I have to find somewhere that's quieter. I don't really know this area. I kind of feel like the bird right now. What did the bird say? I love this guy for helping me. It's kind of hard to hear them. The thing I wonder about is water. So, some water in the cup here. Seems like they are good on water though. Wow, that'd be scary, the bird. They just, fly until they find water. Pretty much. Why am I? Seriously kidding me? Where's my water? I guess I don't have water. I do have water. one bird said, "We don't care. We know what to do, you dumbass." And then another bird said, "We do need it." It's a small, a younger bird said, "We do need it." It's kind of hard to understand. These things are right here. These will be good. They're just like, "I'm not a baby." I wonder how long the bird's been flying for. Whatever. It's like, "Do you see? It just started." That one's much older, right? That's cool. Okay. Well, I'm gonna stream on my Twitch once I find a quiet place to play. I don't really know where there is one around here. Let's see. What's that? Isn't that beautiful? Those birds. I zoomed in much more where they were. That was really cute.